organizing your club and its profiles in a way that you can communicate and have these touch points just be so laser focused, you're going to streamline that member in from the internet right into your club, right back again, utilizing your program offering.
Welcome along to episode 218 of the industry's leading business podcast for fitness owners and managers. We'd like to thank this month's premier podcast partner, Team Rockstar Fit. Team Rockstar Fit is the mastermind team that helps fitness professionals and studios add nutrition, fitness, and online coaching to their existing business with tools from Beachbody. To find out more, visit teamrockstarfit.com. Before I introduce you to this week's special guest, I have a very quick question for you all. Do you subscribe to the show? If the answer is yes, then a gold star for you. If the answer is no, then let me tell you why you should. Subscribing is free. It takes less than 20 seconds to enter your name and email on the website, or alternatively, you can hit that little subscribe button on your podcast player. And most importantly, it means that each week, without you having to remember to check, the new episode gets automatically sent directly to you. It is that easy. If you're like me and you are committed to learning and professional development in 2019, then don't even think about it. Just go right ahead and do it. Hit subscribe right now. You can go to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. Or, as I said, click on the subscribe button under Fitness Business Podcast on your phone's podcast player. Happy learning. Hi everyone, and thank you for joining me. Before I tell you about this week's show, I first wanted to let you know about an interview that I did this week that will be going to air in March. The guest that I spoke to was Dr. Fiona Bull from the World Health Organization, and she joined me to chat about the Global Action Plan on Physical Activity for 2018 through to 2030. If you've not yet heard about the worldwide initiative, I assure you, you are going to be hearing a lot about it very, very soon. During my interview with Dr. Fiona, she shared the goals of the plan, an overview of the 4 key pillars. We discussed the countries that are taking part, and most importantly, and this is where you all come in, we discussed how fitness businesses and fitness professionals can get involved. That interview with Dr. Fiona will be out in early March, and that is another great reason to subscribe to the show. Okay, let's dive into this week. This week, my special guest is the Director of Business Development for First Credit Services, Eric Hinderberger. Eric joined me to share 7 ways to turn around a sleeping member. Specifically, we discussed the definition of a sleeping member. He shares a 5-point checklist for identifying them in your club, and then we dive into 7 ways to turn around your sleeping members. We are about to transition into this week's show, but first, a huge thank you to our podcast partner, Team Rockstar Fit. Would you like to work with the Idea Fitness Leader of the Year? Trina Gray mentors women in fitness to get online and earn more freedom. All you need to do is visit teamrockstarfit.com to find out more information. Enjoy this week's show with our special guest, Eric Hinderberger. It is such a pleasure to welcome our very special guest for today. Eric, welcome and thank you for joining me on the show today.
So very glad to be here, Chantal. Thanks for having me.
I am really excited to have you on and talk about a topic that I know will be of interest to so many people. And today we're talking about 7 ways to turn around sleeping members in your club. So let's start at the very, very beginning. How would you define a sleeping member?
Yeah, very simply. Anybody that has come on board, signed an agreement, agreed to your club's basic contractual terms, and is no longer taking advantage of your program offerings. You know, maybe they signed up to take classes, be involved in small group training, just have access to the equipment, and they have slowly teetered off from utilizing your facility. This can be on a number of thresholds, anybody that's 20, 45, 60, 90 plus days.
Yeah, so essentially we're just not seeing them walking through the doors of our club anymore.
Correct.
Okay, so you have, I believe, a 5-point checklist for identifying those sleeping members. Can you walk us through the 5 points?
Absolutely. These are reports that you should run frequently, run often, and really work to understand the data because it's going to be so intimate to your demographic. The very first report is going to be the check-in report. It's going to show you on a number of days how many people on average are coming in. So you want to look at this on a weekly view, Monday through Sunday, and understand when your trend is for people to come through. What are your busy days? What are your slower days? From there, you want to look at this on an individual standpoint and flip the report upside down to say, all right, how many of these people are checking in multiple times a week and who is not checking in at all? So that attendance record is really going to help to show you exactly where your membership sits. You're going to remember the faces. You're probably going to remember a very large number of those names, but who are the people you're forgetting about? From there, you can also start to look at some of the financial reports, understanding who has not paid in a while. This is often a trigger to say, wow, if, member A does not come current with their dues, we are at a loss of not only losing him from the club, but very much likely from him not being a part of a program at all. So as you're starting to dive into these past due members, start to compare who owes money and at the same time, who is not checking in. These delinquent members are going to bring up to speed not only your staff, but your owner in a way that may kind of rock the boat and really see that attrition for what it's worth, because we're in a churn business. So if we're not looking at these core areas within our management software, things can kind of get sifted under the rug and those members can go off without even being on our radar.
Absolutely, Eric. And I really hope that everyone that's listening is across those numbers. But of course, as you say, things do get away from us. And sometimes, for whatever reason, we're not on top of this all the time. And I know that you said we should be checking these numbers frequently, but do you have any specific examples for us? I mean, are we talking about checking these numbers daily, weekly, fortnightly, monthly? When should we, the collections report is a great example. Are we doing that weekly, I assume?
It's going to come down to how often you're billing. I mean, if you have your billing set up where you're billing every single day, then yes, check it weekly. You're probably actually seeing it every day, but definitely get a high-level overview at a minimum once a week. When it comes to attendance, I think Fortnite meets every 2 weeks, right?
Yes, sorry.
So you want to check that. You're going to want to check that every... I love it. You're going to want to check that every fortnight. Every 2 weeks is going to give you a good picture overview. Some people, they kind of fall off track. Life gets in the way, understandable. But if they're not back in the club in that next 10-day period, definitely you want to make sure you're checking them. So attendance, you can get away with, 2, maybe 3 times a week. But when it comes to any financials, you want to make sure those are on the queue at a weekly minimum.
Absolutely. Okay, so once we have identified this group of sleeping members that we have within our clubs, can you now step us through the 7 ways that we can turn them around and get them coming back into our facilities on a regular basis?
Absolutely. We have so much wonderful technology right here at our hands. You want to make sure you're leveraging that. Within your management systems, you're probably going to have the ability to do emails and some other basic messaging services, but really start to dig deeper, see if there's other tools available that you can kind of bolt onto your management software and start doing the push notifications. If you've properly onboarded a member, they would have already agreed for you to be able to send out some sort of a text message. Take advantage of that. Push notifications can kind of come in 2 ways, pushing out a text message, or if you have a custom branded mobile app, you can go straight to the app. Push out a message that says, hey, Chantal, haven't seen you in 3, 5, 7, or 9 days. Click here to sign up for your next class, or click here to take your next comp training session or schedule a session that's already been purchased that just has not been taken advantage of. There's a number of ways where you can really put that next step in your member's hand so they don't have to think, they can just act and execute. Other areas where you can go ahead and start touching base on are really working as a way to grow your club. Friend referrals are massive. If you have a good member and you suggest that they bring in a member, whether it's with an incentive or not, that's probably one of the strongest ways to grow your brand. So using that mobile app, you should also be able to go directly in there, refer by first name, last name, phone number, email, perhaps another method of contact that you would like to gather, and have that be submitted right back to your core CMS. This way, your front desk team, customer service experience team can take that information and really work to invite that member to join in with their existing friend that's a member. Also, some sort of a loyalty or a reimbursement program is also a great way to kind of tether this together. Refer a friend, receive a t-shirt, personal training. Perhaps you have a great spa or a salon or a smoothie shop, and invite them to take advantage of those services, because perhaps they've never used them. It's a great place for you to introduce them to your other product offerings, get them to really start spending the dollars in your club that maybe you haven't seen before. So this second money can be a great opportunity for them to just really get that next hook in and take advantage of more of your club. Other great ways to get people just to kind of be aware of this technology is invite them to experience it. So emailing or texting a link to download your specific app can really help to cut the barrier of entry for that program. We have a lot of parents and elders that are nowadays very much accustomed to using technology, but finding the right piece could always be a little bit of a confusing point. So inviting somebody to download your app right from their device can also assist in encouraging people to take advantage of some of the technology you're paying for and maybe not seeing the proper ROI that you would like on that.
And I might just add to that, Eric, because I know that not everyone out there has their own app for their facility, but you can equally extend that to sending out a link to encourage someone to say, go online to your website to check out your class timetable, your small group training classes, whatever it might be. But it's really about creating that connection piece. Am I right?
Absolutely. I mean, there's so much information available. We just need to be reminded about the right information. So taking the time to share this with your membership base can really go a long way.
Okay, Eric, so far we've covered off 5 of the 7. So we've talked about push notifications, referring a friend, having a reimbursement program or a loyalty program of some sort, inviting them to jump in and book a class via text or via email. And we've talked about whether or not we have a customized downloadable app that we can share with our members. So take us through the final 2 ways that we can turn around sleeping members.
As members are becoming more engaged with your mobile app and whatever online experience you have available, want to make sure that it's also tethered on the back end to being a mobile-friendly app. Anywhere you're at, you can quickly view the information, pull up the class schedule and be able to view that if you don't have the app. You want to make sure everything is inviting, easy to use, makes them understand your program offerings that much better. So make sure your website is up to snuff. At the same time, any social media streams that you have connected to your mobile app or your website, you want to make sure that you're activating content specific for that channel. Best used for YouTube, seeing videos, demos and tours of the equipment. If you're having people take advantage of the Instagram, whatever your voice is on your Instagram or Facebook or any other channels, make sure that that is also relevant in the right way.
So, Eric, what I'm hearing, or I guess the common theme that I'm hearing across all of these is this is really about connecting with our members. It's really about making sure that there's never a time in the membership life cycle where we've left them, we've forgotten about them. It's about what are all the ways that we've got in place in our business to constantly have connection points with our members. Am I correct in saying that?
Absolutely. What we're looking to do here is really take the time and create with the mindset of generational legacy instead of these momentary wins. So organizing your club and its profiles in a way that you can communicate and have these touch points just be so laser focused, you're going to streamline that member from the internet right into your club, right back again, utilizing your program offerings.
What have you seen out in the market of someone who is just absolutely nailing this process and constantly in contact with their their members.
Absolutely. I mean, the studios have done such a great job at disrupting that traditional barrier where it was sign up for the membership, use it if you please. And they've come in and said, if you're not using it, you're not here. You have to be present. I think that that's actually translating into some of the larger clubs as well. They're starting to compartmentalize their program offerings within their big boxes and sharing that exclusivity from within those club experiences. So I'm a big fan of multiple touch points, that high engagement. I think that it really works to just allow for somebody to feel as if they are not really skipping a beat, even if it has been a few days, 2, 3, 5 days from when they were last in the club. They're still connected, still engaged, and aware of what's going on in the club. So I love seeing that happen kind of across the board as well.
I completely agree. And I think, when I'm thinking about how it is that we know how frequently we should communicate with them and what we should talk to them, it really comes back down to the very first point that we talked about, which was having that 5-point checklist, making sure that you are constantly monitoring your member activity, what's going on with them. And, you and I caught up before this interview and we were having a chat about memberships and just really knowing our members. And one of the things you mentioned to me is just how important it is that we constantly seek to understand the reason that they joined us in the very first place. So understanding our members in the best way that we possibly can. And I think that's such an important piece when we're in a situation where maybe we're going through peak sales period and we're signing up lots of members at the one time. It's a part in the process that we really can't afford to skip, is knowing what their underlying motivation is and knowing why it is that they walked into the gym.
Absolutely. That human component is invaluable, and we have to just keep our ears open and our mouth closed in some cases just to allow for the member to share with us so we can document that, take good notes, and be able to use that if a conversation comes up where they're wanting to cancel or we have not seen that member for a while. We want to be able to realign them with their initial reasons for coming on board. And if we fall short of listening when they're vulnerable and failing to have them carry out that initiative, then what is our purpose again? We have to keep that human factor a part of our greater culture, and that intimate detail is very much the success point.
It is so important. Well, Eric, as you know, we finish off all of our shows with our Fitbispiration. So for today, can you finish off by sharing 3 quick tips for immediately turning around sleeping members in our clubs?
Absolutely. We want to focus on building better relationships, and that's going to work to elevate the impact that we have with that individual and within our community. From there, we want to focus on bulletproofing your culture in this hyper-connected digital world. Keep it human.
I love those points. Well, Eric, thank you so much. It's been really great just talking through those 5 identifiers to start off with, and then, of course, those 7 ways that we can start to turn around sleeping members within our clubs. And I think there's so many things that we can go back and just cross-check. What are we doing in our business at the moment? Are we ticking off all of those boxes? Are we connecting with our members in all of the ways that we have the opportunity to do so? So thank you for running us through those checklists today.
Thank you so much for having me, Chantal. It's my pleasure.
Tribe, if you haven't explored a functional training space for your gym, then now is the time. With Queenex Functional Training by Precor, there is a unit to fit every space. Plus, education is included to ensure that training is delivered with confidence. You need to jump online and check this out right now. Go to precor.com/fitness business podcast.
Precor Quickfire 5.
This week's Precor Quickfire 5 guest comes all the way from the UK. She's the CEO and founder of Too Fat to Run, Julie Crefeld. Julie, welcome along. Thank you for joining us on the show today.
I'm so excited to be here.
We start off each of our interviews with a Precor Quickfire 5. So tell everyone, why do you do what you do?
I do what I do because I spent such a long time feeling alone in the fitness world.
And what's one ritual that helps you become better at what you do?
I journal every day.
And are there any apps or systems that you use to stay in control of your workload?
I use lots of different apps, but I adore using a paper diary.
You'll be surprised by how many people say the same thing. And are there any books, podcasts, or blogs that you would recommend, and why?
I'm an avid reader. I read so much, but I love The Universe Has Your Back by Gabrielle Bernstein. I think it stopped me from really kind of catastrophizing my life.
Oh, interesting. We haven't had that one before, so I'll look it up and pop the link in the show notes. And just give everyone a bit of an insight into the topic that we're going to be focusing on during your main interview.
Sure. So I'm really interested in talking about how you build a tribe of loyal and excited customers. Well, not just customers, but fans, followers, partners, and people that just really want to see your business grow and do well.
Well, I'm really excited to talk to you about that topic. And I have to say, because everyone was probably on edge when they heard your first answer to why do you do what you do, I want to just assure everyone that we will be talking about that. I just don't want to give away too much just yet. So we're going to talk about that in your main interview. And Julie, thank you for joining me for the Pre-Call Quickfire 5. You're all invited to the FBP Family Meetup on Wednesday, March the 13th at 6 a.m. If you aren't familiar with our meetup walks, this is an active networking event. We walk and we talk for 45 minutes and we return back to the main entrance of the Marriott Marquis San Diego Marina by 6:50 a.m. The meetup is free and it's the best way to start your day. We do need to know attendance numbers, so please jump over to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com, go to the top of the page and click on the tab called Meetup, then register your details for the Ursa Walk. If you need any more information, you can email me directly at chantal@fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. Thank you for joining me for this week's show, and a quick reminder that all the resources and links for today's episode can be found at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. As we come to the end of today's show, I want to say thank you to our foundation partner, Active Management. I need more leads, is what many fitness business owners say. Let Active Management help turn your About Us page on your website into a lead generating machine. Download your free checklist at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com/active. Thank you for being part of the FBP family. As we finish off today, remember what you leave behind is not what's engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others.